Reggie here, your friendly neighborhood bodybuilder and comic book collector, and I want to welcome you to another one of my live streams. This is, I think, a really cool live stream because I am actually joined yet again by popular demand by Danielle, aka Nerdy Girl Comics. Danielle, it is good to see you.
It's great to see you too. Thanks for having me.
Oh, it is my pleasure. I remember I think it was like the day after our last live stream, I sent you a message and said, hey, we are getting close to like 1,000 views in like less than 48 hours. And I think your response back to me was, it's actually less than 24 hours. That's really good. Let's do it again. I think those were your exact words. Sound familiar?
Super familiar. In true Danielle fashion.
What did you say? In true Danielle fashion?
Yeah.
That first live stream was a lot of fun. I think you showed, you showed some really good books. I drooled on the floor, as did many other people that were watching that live stream.
But you do a great job of keeping me centered because I'll just go all over the place. So you keep me centered and on topic. So I appreciate that side of it.
Technically, that is my job as the host of the channel. My job is to keep everything moving in the right direction and to keep the pace there. You know what I'm saying? But I think you made comments about when you bring it, or something to that effect. And you definitely brought it in the last live stream, which is why I was excited about having you come back to this one, because I think in this one, as we kind of alluded to in the name, we are going to show you guys some rare and ultra rare golden age books. And again, I'm saying it's really Nerdy Girl is going to show you some books. I'm going to stare at them and then maybe make some background. That's how this is going to go. All right. So let's give a shout out to a couple of people that are here in the chat. I think there's like 21 people that are here already. So let's say hello. My buddy, Closet Geek, was here for a moment, but he has some wifely duties to attend to down in Mardi Gras. So he popped in to say hello and then he took off. Thierry is here. Good to see you. Big Will is in the house. Unruly Simeon is here. White Whale Comics is here. How you doing, brother? White Whale is going to be serving as our moderator not our moderator, but our I guess he is a room moderator to kind of keep things organized. So shout out to White Whale for always helping out. Perry Comics is here. Comic Book Collection is here. Tina Cranston is here. Ruben is in the house. Gorilla Grodd. TJ Slab Dragon Watson is here. The Goat 99 is here. Geek of the West is in the house, and Rush Diehard. Stephen Oates is here. It is a nice motley crew of regulars that are here. It is good to see each and every one of you guys. Is there anybody in that live stream chat that you recognize, Danielle?
So I believe TJ Watson's on the board, so I know him from there. I don't know many people. If you follow me on Instagram, shout out your Instagram handle so I can correlate it.
Well done. I keep telling people I need a matrix of like real name, Facebook name, Instagram name, email address, and YouTube name, because they're all different, you know?
Can we just make it all cohesive to make it so much easier? Thanks, guys. There's your tip for the day. Make your names the same.
That is the best tip ever, because I've had conversations with people and they be like, you don't remember? And I'm like, no, I don't remember. And I'm like nervous and I'm going back through the feed and they're like, yeah, but I sent you the message over here. And I'm like, those two names aren't even close, you know? So
right. It's like, oh, okay.
Yeah. And it's
someone said my camera looks better. That's good.
Well, thankfully, I know there was, I want to apologize because there was some feedback that I received. Feedback, unsolicited feedback, whatever it is a gift. And gifts are sometimes hard to receive. And so there was some feedback that was given about the last live stream in terms of the audio and the video. And so Danielle and I have both made some adjustments to try to make this live stream a little bit more beneficial. I actually upgraded my Comcast feed and paid some extra money. I'm now on the highest tier. I've shut off every device in the house that connects to Wi-Fi, and there are more than 25 of them in my house. So I've shut off a ton of stuff.
Bananas, okay.
And I think, Danielle, you've made some adjustments on your side as well, yeah?
Yes.
So
Yes.
fingers crossed. And then part of it was it my Comcast? Was it my voice? I don't know. The voice still is not 100%, but we are getting closer and closer
You
every
sound
day.
better.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. So if you guys haven't already subscribed to the channel, I definitely want to encourage you to take the time to do that so that you can stay abreast of all the content that we release on a weekly basis. I think I mentioned this in my Ready, Set, Go live stream on Sunday. We are actually going to be going live twice this week. This is the first of 2 live streams that are going to be taking place. This one at 6 o'clock, and there's one tomorrow at 7:30 with EGS Comics. So if you guys can tune in for that, I think that should be a good discussion. But without any further ado, I want to get back to the task at hand. And today's task is about looking at some amazing golden age books. And we're talking ultra rare and rare golden age books. But before we look at the books, one of the things that I want to do is rewind. Because after the last live stream, Danielle, a ton of people sent me messages about that live stream. And the request that people were making was, can you get her to tell us more about how she got started? And so I want to do that. I want to take a step back and I want to revisit some of that. My hope is that you'll be okay with me asking some of these questions about how you got started. Are we cool to do that?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. All right. So, do you remember the very first book that you actually bought for the purpose of resale?
I remember the first big book where it was like, oh my gosh, this is about to like really become a thing. And holy shit, how are we going to pay for this book? We're like 21 years old. Like, and it was a Marvel 190. And we won it for 161 grand.
Mm.
And before it was even like paid for, someone else contacted us and said, hey, I have a buyer for this book. I can sell it for 209 and you'll net 189. Do you want to do it? And it was like, oh, okay, this is already paid for and it didn't even touch our hands. So how do you not? Right?
So let's rewind. So let's rewind.
Yeah, wrap your head around that.
Yeah, I'm trying. This was a Marvel 1. Yeah.
Yeah.
You won it. You said you won this for $161,000. And before you had even completed the transaction, someone reached out and actually offered you more money than what you had just paid for the book before you even really touched the book. Is that what I'm hearing?
That's what you're hearing.
And
I never even touched the book. Still to this day, I wish I had it back.
So you were 21. You were 21.
Yeah.
And you bought a comic for $161,000, which is more than most people's houses.
Yeah, and it was like, whoa, how's this going to be paid for? I can't believe this just happened.
So was this an auction? I mean, what was this?
Yeah. It was at an auction.
So was it a face-to-face auction, or was it like one of those late night, you've been drinking at the bar, you came home and you accidentally bought something?
Can I blame it on that and say it was that when it was actually like the middle of the day and I wasn't drunk?
So there's absolutely no excuse.
Coming to Jesus moment.
Oh my goodness. I bought my first house at 23 and I didn't pay that much money for it, but I remember panicking as I was signing the paperwork because I looked at the amortization sheet and it showed how much I owed and I started freaking out. I couldn't imagine being 21 and actually paying that kind of money for a stack of paper. That's crazy. Like, what made you think that you wanted to do that, to make that buy? Was it the influence of the boyfriend that we talked about before?
A little bit, but it was just such a good deal, right? Where it was like, this feels so cheap. Like, how do we not
say no?
Bid on it? And obviously it was, because before it even left our hands or touched our hands, it was gone.
Right. So a Marvel,
and what? 30 grand.
White Well is saying here, a Marvel 1 9.0, and you made how much? Give me that number one more time.
We paid 161 and we ended up netting 189. So 28 grand.
Wow.
For really just winning a book in an auction.
Right. So after you did that first transaction, and I can only imagine like what's going through your mind, right? You're like, this is the easiest 30 grand that I've ever made, right? And it's
Yeah, for
actually
sure.
it's actually real money, right? Did you then take that money and go buy another book? Like, what did you do with that 28,000, right?
It just started a recycling, right? Where it was like, okay, let's pour it into this, let's pour it into this. And it just kept growing.
Yep.
And it happened very organically. We've been very fortunate in some of the books that have been offered to us, both through other people who search for books and through different auction houses where the timing is right, and just finding private collections where we've just been really fortunate.
Yeah. I mean, I think
And
sometimes
it's hard work, right? It's a grind.
right. There's no doubt that it's a grind. I mean, you say that you've been fortunate, but there's also a lot of work that goes into that, right? Because anyone that has these type of books are making a decision on who they want to sell them to, right? They have options, in many cases,
Always.
right?
Yeah.
Especially if they're not like an auction, it's something like a private deal that you're actually doing, like the one you talked about before with the Action Comics, where it took 15
Yeah.
years. That person they made a decision to actually give you a chance and that other person a chance to actually win those books. That's a conscious decision that they make. And that comes through hard work, 15 years of follow-up. I think you mentioned before. Yeah.
Yeah, literally. Yeah.
So that started a snowball effect. You had some opportunities to put some things together. Can you talk a little bit about how you guys finance some of the deals, right? Are you guys, is this like briefcase stuff that you guys roll in with? Is it PayPal
It's had to
money?
happen before.
Say that again.
I said that's had to happen before.
Okay. Well, let's hear some stories about how it is that you
Oh
guys are going
gosh.
about financing these things.
Well, I mean, sometimes we have to come up with cash on a whim, right? And we do cash sales at shows, and sometimes we'll have like a safety deposit box that we can go to. Sometimes there's money in the bank. We have like investments accounts that we can draw from. PayPal for sure sometimes, or it's just selling a bunch of stuff quick because there's going to be more money to be made, where it's like, okay, let's fire sale this real fast, get this money in, because I know that I'm going to make it up on the next deal.
Yep.
And maybe leave a little meat on the bone, because that's what this is, right? You can't get every penny from every book every time, because then the hobby doesn't work. You have to be willing to leave a little bit for the next person.
And I think that says a lot, right? Because sometimes when you look at some pricing of some of the things that people are trying to sell, it's like you are not even connected to FMV, right? You're leaving nothing on the table for somebody else to get. And I think if that's your approach, I mean, I think if your approach is different than that, then I think that serves you well and creates a great reputation for people to actually work with you, So I think that's very cool. Perry Comics is saying you need to start a school on flipping books. Do you consider yourself a flipper? Right. I mean, because that has some connotations associated with it. And I'm not picking on Perry. Perry's a good dude. But do you consider yourself a flipper, or what do you? And I think we talked about this before, but it's come up here. So I wanted to kind of speak to it. Can you talk about that?
I think if it happens, it happens. Yes. I have flipped books. Do I consciously go out and say, oh my God, please sell me this book, I'm never going to sell it? And then but if someone comes and says, I know you just got this book, I'll give you this much. Or if I know someone's looking for this book and they're willing to pay more than I paid, then I'm going to take the money.
But that's very different.
So I don't consciously go out and flip. Now on fair market value, if you talk to me about Journey 83, I'll always be priced ahead because it's my favorite book, obviously. But most of the time, yeah, like I'll buy to sit for a little bit. I do shows, so I have to have inventory.
Yep. And
so a flipper, no, I don't buy with the intent to immediately turn it over most of the time.
But if the opportunity presents itself, then you take advantage of that opportunity, which I think makes a lot of good business sense, right?
Yeah.
So my buddy Knights of Old is asking a question here about how long you've actually been doing this for a living. I think we talked about that before, but can you address that for folks that are in the room?
Yeah, for 14 years.
That's crazy.
So I was 21.
That is.
Can you imagine?
That, I couldn't imagine being like, Mom, I just bought this book for $161,000.
Oh gosh, we don't ever talk about what we pay for them. No,
Oh,
thank you, sir.
that's probably bad. That's probably bad. I think my mom still gets upset with me from like back in the day when I spent like $20 on a comic. She thought that was a waste of money, you know? So we don't talk about money at all when it comes to my comics in my room here. We never speak about it. My mom doesn't even watch the channel, so it's good that it's good that we stay away from some of those things,
right.
you know?
Separation.
What'd you say?
That separation.
Exactly. I think it's very healthy. So it sounds like there's a myriad of things that you guys do to actually finance some of the books. Do you ever do any other type of financing, right? Do you ever partner up with somebody to actually buy a collection? Can you speak a little bit about some of those things? Because not everyone has a safety deposit box full of cash, right? Not everyone has books that they can sell readily for the purpose of buying another book. So can you talk a little bit about some other ways that you go about financing some of the deals that you do?
Yeah, for sure. So we will partner up with people if someone finds a collection and they're like, damn, I really wish I could buy this, but I can't swing it. And they come to me. I'll finance a collection and split the profits always, as long as it makes sense. I'm always down to split a collection. If someone finds a book and they can't maybe buy the book right away, but they can pay it off in like 4 months, but that seller can't do time payments, I'll finance that in lieu of collateral. And then once the book is paid off, they'll get their collateral back. I always will offer time payments on stuff I have as long as the terms make sense. I'll help anyone who has a book that they want to get in their collection get it if I can help with it.
Yep. I was actually saving. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. Did I overjump you?
No. I think I stepped on your toes and I apologize. I was actually saving that question for the end, but I might as well ask it here about time payments. Because I know, if you're talking about some of the books that you have,
sorry.
These are some ridiculously expensive, gorgeous books, right? And so it sounds like if someone is interested in some of the books that you offer, you actually will do time payments to help someone buy that book.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. I think that's helpful because you showed a lot of crazy books at the end of the last thing. And at the end, I was like, man, I probably should have asked her if she does time payments, because some of those books, people can't just drop that money right off the top, So how far can I stretch out an AF-15 purchase? No, you know what? Let's save that for later.
We'll talk about
that later. we'll talk about that off the air. All right. So you when we made the decision for you to come back on the show, Perry, I'm going to get to your question at the end, brother. And if I forget about insurance, remind me. So when we made the decision to do the live show again, and we started having a discussion around what we wanted this video to be about, you sent me a list of books, and some of them I had to look up because I didn't know what the heck they were. I'm gonna be honest with you. I had to look them up. And, but I also looked up the census data, and that's how I came up with the rare and ultra rare kind of thing, because of the census data that exists. What is the first book that you want to show? Because I told people we were going to show some gorgeous books. What's the first one that you want to put up there?
I'll do Flash 1 first. So I'll show the book. You do a little census data, then I'll chime in.
All right, there we go.
That's your contribution to the books, right?
That is all that I have to offer people is census data.
All right, so is that a good angle? If I step here, can you see
You have
this?
a little bit of a glare. Tilt the head down. That's good. That's good.
No, that way.
That's good.
Okay. So you chat about Flash 1, then I'll chime in.
All right, so I think that I have the right census data. So this is Flash 1 from, I think, 1940, and there appear to be 79 of these total on the census. 36 of those are restored, and 3 are qualified, with the balance being universal books.
Yes. So it's the origin and first appearance of the original old school Flash and Hawkman. So like all those Legends fans, this is where it started.
I didn't know Hawkman was in there. That's cool.
That's like old school Hawkman. Yeah, see? You see him on the cover?
I can see him. Yeah, I've actually been watching the DC Legends. I kind of dig that
it's a good show. Yeah, me too.
I dig.
We're like big DC shows in this house, like all Flash.
See, I'm not a DC fan, but to be honest with you, I like the Flash TV show.
Shows are good.
The shows are good. I've been watching Flash. I've been watching Supergirl. I've been watching DC Legends, and I started watching a new one just today. But sorry. So that basically leaves, if you do the math on that, that's about 40 blue labels, of which this is one.
Yes.
And I think you mentioned before that you primarily only buy the blue labels if you can help it. Is that correct?
Yeah, they hold their value better. Here's a fun fact. Since like the 1970s, Golden Age comic books have appreciated more in value than any other commodity traded out there.
Including Legos?
Yes.
I just found out Legos actually have residual value. I kid you not.
Oh, yeah, they do. Some of those Legos are like 25 grand for a figure.
That is ridiculous. I was doing some research for an article that I was doing, and I was Googling like alternative investment vehicles, and it pulled up an article on Legos. And I was like, are you kidding? Lego? There is a portal where it does FMV for Lego sets. I couldn't believe it.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, I can't.
Okay, well, think about it. Right? This was like $100 in the 1970s. Now it's a six-figure buck.
That's ridiculous.
So think about that growth.
That is ridiculous. That's a very nice book.
Right?
And again, that was the first appearance of Flash and also the first appearance of Hawkman. Very cool stuff. Yeah. 1940. That's amazing. All right. So what's the next one? Is Ben in the room?
He said your voice is so soothing.
What'd you say?
He said your voice is so soothing.
Who's saying that?
Tuckus.
Oh, you are a nut. He is a nut.
He wants you to read him bedtime stories.
I can make some jokes, but I'm not. This is a family channel, okay? Oh my goodness. What is that gorgeous
Marvel
thing?
1. That's Marvel 1. It's the first appearance of Human Torch, 1939. Hit him with some census data.
There are 61 total on the census, with 33 of those actually being restored. Yeah. I don't do fast math, so that basically means that there are 28 blue labels, of which she is holding one at a 3.0. And Ben is in the house. How you doing, Ben?
In off-white white pages. Hey, Ben.
That is ridiculous.
We'll put the timely away. Ben's here.
How do you have a book from 1939 with white to off-white pages?
It's beautiful, right? It's how they're stored.
That is ridiculous.
Look, you know what, too? I always like the back covers in some of the ads, right? Because to think about what people paid for stuff in like the 1930s and 40s is mind-blowing to me. I love the history of these books.
That is, I was actually a history major in college, and I don't know if that's part of what attracts me to comics. Comics is the historical nature of them, But there is something to be said for the ads and for what the books actually represent, and what they represented at the time that they were done, So Ben, I wanted to make sure Ben was here because Ben actually threatened to boycott the channel and the live stream if we did not show some timely books. So there you go. Knights of Old, unfortunately,
wasn't going to show them.
Do you know, Danielle, someone's asking for price. I actually didn't pull up any prices. So I didn't pull any of that stuff up. I don't know if you know any of that stuff.
On the Marvel one or the Flash one? Well, a lot of these are like what they're worth.
Yeah.
What is like? Sell a lot of these for under 100. Okay.
So you're showing houses.
Yeah.
Okay.
Condos.
Cool.
I'm showing beach condos.
only in Florida, my friend. In California, that doesn't buy you very much.
I know. I lived in San Diego. I couldn't come. I tried.
You know what it's like out here. Bananas. It really is.
Yeah. I can't.
So what's the next golden age book that we're going to show?
Let's do All-Star 850. Origin and first appearance of the ultimate boss bitch, Wonder Woman.
Can you hold that one up so I can see that one a little bit better?
Yeah, my camera. I think I'm lost in my camera. Do I have it?
Yeah, you do. You do. That is not what I expected from I'm sorry, All-Star 1. Sorry about that. I'm sorry, All-Star 8.
It's All-Star 8, not
Yeah.
1, 8.
Sorry about that. And this one, is this 41 or 42?
It's like on the cusp, right? Because sometimes they would go in between 2 months. So it's between December 1941 and January 1942.
Yep. So I just wanted to make sure my information was correct. Because that's what I came up with was 41, 42. The numbers on this were a little high. These were some of the higher numbers. I think there was 168 of these in the CGC census, with 41 of them being restored and 7 of them being qualified. And of course, this is only CGC census data. It doesn't include what the other grading houses may be doing with the same book.
I know. I wish there was a way to like. Did you say you got a Rush?
No, Rush is saying that he's shaking his head right now in astonishment at that book.
Well, you know what's funny about the cover, right? It's her origin and first appearance, but she's not on the cover.
And that's what I was going to say, is that doesn't strike me as the cover for Wonder Woman, because she's not there. I didn't see her, you know? Who is on the cover? Who's on the cover?
It's a Justice Society, so it's Spectre, Hawkman, I believe Hourman. Like, it's everyone who made up the original Golden Age Justice Society. There we go. I'm trying to show you.
Terry, I'm gonna show you that comic because that's funny, brother.
Which one?
No. Oh, I see the Spectre. Yeah. Very cool.
Her first cover. I had to empty my jewel bucket. These comments are great.
People are hilarious. People are hilarious. I enjoy these live streams. I really do. All right, so we just talked a little bit about Wonder Woman. Can we see some Wonder Woman action now?
Yeah, let's segue into them. Wonder Woman 1. Her first. Here we go. That's better. Her first actual solo comic where she has her own title.
That is nice.
I love that copy. It's so pretty. It's a really nice 6.5 and off-white white pages.
That's ridiculous. I've seen that cover before. I know that one. With Wonder Woman #1, this was 1942. There are 161 of these on the CGC census, with 50 of them restored and 11 of them qualified. Yeah. That's a nice. There is something about yellow covers that just speak to me.
Draws you in.
It does.
I can see that. Well, they're so bright and vibrant.
I mean, and I'm not like the biggest Batman fan. Like, I just recently read my first Batman book. But there is something like about those Batman covers that are yellow that just speak to me. Same thing with Amazing Spider-Man, just gorgeous covers.
Yeah. I agree. There are some cool Spidey covers. I'm not a Batman fan. I don't like most of the covers in the run, but I appreciate the art.
Yep. And there you go. I mean, there's always something that you can appreciate about it for the most part, you know?
Yeah.
So there was a request. I think someone said, what about Sensation 1, Knights of Old?
It was next in my pile. It's like there was a tell.
Imagine that. You asked for it and then she has it.
But I deliver.
She's got a stack of houses over there, people. That's what she's showing.
Listen. The All-Star 8 is under 100. Okay. And I have an extra copy if someone needs one.
I got a spare.
In the same grade, we can twin.
I have a spare under $100,000 book that I can just let go, you know?
We can twin. He can buy my other 5.0 and we'll take a picture of our two 5.0s together.
That's awesome. Ben, I don't know if we're going to see any more Timely Brother, but we're going to try. We may have something in here. We'll see. So
we'll grab one.
That Sensation 1 is 1942. There are 93 of them on the CGC census, with 33 of those being restored and 2 qualified. And what's the significance of Sensation 1?
It's her cover. It's her second appearance, and it's the first time she's on an actual cover. And like, how patriotic is this cover? Like, it's just so great.
That's a nice 5-0,
Yeah,
man.
yeah, it's pretty.
That is insane.
And it has the stamp on it, right?
The date stamp?
The US and like foreign. No, it was like an old stamp. So it's neat. I'll show. Yeah.
Very cool.
It's not even a date stamp. It's just like a provenance stamp.
Ben is saying that Sensation 1 is the best Wonder Woman cover ever.
I think I would agree with that. Well, Sensation 6 is pretty cool too, though. But yeah.
Very cool.
Oh,
very cool.
I wish I had a Suspense 3. I don't, though.
Say that one more time.
Someone was saying Suspense 3, and I was saying I wish I had a Suspense 3, but I don't.
There you go. Now you have a new goal. You have a new goal.
I'm on a hunt.
Because I think DS Comics is one of my good buddies, and he is a big fan of like pre-code horror. And then maybe we'll bring you back on and do some pre-code horror for guys like DS Comics that really get into that stuff. You know?
Yeah, I have some cool stuff.
All right, cool. What else do you have over there?
All right, Adventure 40. This is super underappreciated, I think, in the market. It's the first Sandman on a cover. His technical first appearance was New York World's Fair 1939. But this is his first like official full appearance.
Is that a 7-0?
I kind of like the other one. Yeah, it's a 7-0.
That's crazy. All right, so that is Adventure Comics number 40, 7-0 from 1939. There are 36 on the CGC census, and 14 of those are restored. Yeah. That is impressive.
So it's super rare. There aren't many higher than this.
That is crazy.
Yeah, it's a super rare book.
So let me ask you this question while we have a second here. You have, and I'm joking. I mean, I said it jokingly, but you have a stack of houses sitting there on the desk in front of you. It's safe to say you have some insurance on all of those books? Yeah.
Yeah, and like offsite storage.
Are there armed guards at this offsite storage?
There might be.
No. So here's the thing: did your heart sink with those recent thefts of those storage facilities where people were storing their books? And I think there were at least 2 of them that people broke into within like a couple of weeks of each other.
My heart sank, and I have very mixed emotions on it because I was so heartbroken for them having this huge loss, but I would never keep my books in a storage facility in that setting.
Yep.
Because it's not armed. It's not super secure. I mean, I think they came through a ceiling or in through a door somehow. And for me, like, that's just not, put it in a vault. You can buy like a room in a vault. You can buy safety deposit boxes, like keep them in your house, like where you are with an alarm on, like whatever you have to do. But I make sure that they are safe, like anywhere they are.
Yeah. Because I mean,
you need a piece of mind, right? Like that's my life.
It almost seemed like they had them in like a U store, you know? I mean, like a regular
yes, like that.
Run of the mill storage facility. And it's just, I mean, my heart sank because I was like, anytime someone takes something of yours, I just think that's tough.
It's damage. Yeah.
But the fact that it was somebody's comics, you know, and possibly somebody's livelihood, like I don't know if those people that had their books stolen were actually dealers, but that was tough. I actually didn't read any of the details. I didn't have the heart to allow that negativity in, you know, but that was tough. That was tough. But it sounds like you're not in that kind of situation. It sounds like you have your stuff, you know, better protected than that. And you definitely have it insured, which makes complete sense for someone that does this for a living.
Okay. They caught the guy. I know Fish and Freak is saying they caught the guy. They caught the guy who had some of the books. But a lot of the books were not recovered.
Yeah. That's crazy.
And I think what people don't understand, right, is when they're thinking about stealing some of these books, some of them are so rare that even trying to resell them, eventually it surfaces and you're caught. It's a small hobby. It's a big hobby, but it's a small hobby.
Yep. And my guess is that their books were slabbed. That's my guess. I don't know for a fact, but there's serial numbers. There's serial numbers on these things, you know? Right. So it was, I don't know what that person was thinking that did it, but I don't know. So let's go ahead and get back to the books here. What else do you have over there that you might want to show the people?
Batman 1. This is a little grade copy. I have a couple others, but they're not here yet.
So wait a minute. You have how many copies of Batman 1? Danielle, can you hear me?
Yeah, I was counting.
Oh man. Okay.
6.
That is ridiculous. So you have 7 Batman 1s from 1940. That's what you're telling me?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Do you know what the highest grade is on those, or are they still getting graded?
An unrestored 4.0.
All right. Batman number 1. What'd you say?
I'm so glad I can take your breath away.
Batman 1, 1940. There are 255 of these on the CGC census, with 136 of those being restored, 6 of them qualified, and Danielle with at least 6 of those books. Or 7. Who's counting?
Who's counting? I mean, after 5, you kind of lose track. Like children, they're hard to keep track of.
Would you say like children is hard to keep track of after you get past a certain number? That's awesome. Can I see that one more time? Because I'm starting to be a Batman fan. I know it's not your thing, but I'm starting to be a Batman fan. That's cool. So I've actually
cool cover.
I've actually dropped that cover into several of my videos. So I know that cover well, but I know it from like JPEG files on the internet, not from actually ever seeing one in person, you know?
Well, it's also first appearance of Joker and Catwoman.
Can't go wrong with that. Because Joker's been around since the beginning, right? I mean, that's one of the most long-standing villains that there is with Batman there. Yeah. Very nice. And I think Ben was asking for some I think he was saying pre Robin, but I guess that featured Robin, so we let you down over there, but
I'm sorry.
Someone is saying go to the dark side. I guess going to the dark side is DC. I'm going that way. I'm headed that way. I'm not going to the golden age. I'll tell you that.
You should come to the golden age. What do you mean?
Nope.
It's a downward spiral once you enter it, but you don't come back.
It's a never-ending abyss. Is that what I just heard?
Downward spiral, yeah. Let's have some books on your wall we can trade.
Nope.
Listen, what if you could put a Batman 1 on your wall?
A Batman 1 would be really cool. I have to tell you, I think it would be really cool. You know, actually, I was hanging out with Ben. And Ben showed me once upon a time, I think it was like a hypodermic needle cover Batman. And I thought it was really cool. I had never really seen anything like that. And then I was watching some video or something like that on YouTube the other day, and I actually saw that book. And I was like, I know that book. And I'm so proud of myself when I actually can know some DC stuff and some history. I think it's cool because I'm such a Marvel guy. Like that's what I grew up with. But I'm starting to open my mind up to some DC stuff. And sooner or later, a DC book will make its way to my wall back there. After Amazing Fantasy 15, after that. So, all right, what else do we have over there? He says it's a hypo cover. Thank you, brother. Thank you, brother. How many copies of AF-15 does she have? 1 million copies. 1 million. Danielle, do you want to answer that one? There was a question here about AF-15. Are you counting again?
Do I have?
How many copies of AF-15?
3 or 4.
Yeah. Yep.
I don't have that many. Not as many as Batman 1.
I think you're doing.
Ask me how many Hulk 181 I have.
You said Hulk 181. How many Hulk 181 do you have?
10.
I thought I was doing something with my 2. I've got the twins up here on the wall. Well, not even twins. I've got an 8-5 back here and a 5-0 signed by Stan in front. I thought I was doing something, but no, No. I want to do this for a living. I want to be like you when I grow up.
Okay.
All right. So what else do we have over there? We just saw Batman #1 from 1940. What else do we have?
Okay, so next would be Detective 27.
Where's Ben? We have Detective.
First appearance, Batman.
And that's the Detective Comics 27, yeah?
Yes.
All right, that's 1939, 68 on the census, 35 of which are restored, and 1 is qualified. And I think you said that is the very first appearance of the Dark Knight.
I think, I don't know. There's a big debate on which cover is the better cover, Tech 27 or Action 1.
What do you guys think? Let's hold both of those up. What does the chat think in terms of the best cover between Batman 1 and Detective Comics 27? Which is the better cover?
Oh, Action 1 and Detective 27.
Oh, Action 1. I misheard you.
Oh.
Who knows? There was a mistake that was made. Who knows? Does CGC credit Bill Finger? I don't know. What does the label say over there, Danielle?
The Detective 27?
Yeah. What does the label say in terms of
appearance of Batman? Wait, I'm confused.
So what does the label say for Detective 27 as to who the artist is?
Oh, it's Finger, Siegel, and Chamber Stories, and then Bob Kane.
There you go. Someone was asking who received credit for doing the artwork on Detective 27. So thank you for that. Sorry about the confusion.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So you were saying that there was some debate between who has which is the better cover, and what is the debate between?
In 1 and Detective 27.
Got it. And I think a couple of people are kind of voting here. So it looks like a lot of people think actually it may be a toss up. There's a lot of votes both ways.
Yeah.
There's a lot of votes both ways as I scroll down the list. So who knows? I think the debate just continues.
Oh, that's a hard question. It does. I think Tech 27 is better. I don't really like the Action 1 cover. I know it's very classic and bold, but I like the Detective cover better.
Why do you like the Detective cover better? What is it about that cover that speaks to you that you don't hear from Action 1?
I mean, he's actually being a superhero. Superman's just like lifting a car. Batman's like swinging in and saving the guy from the gangsters, and it's a better action.
A little bit more action going on with that. Yeah. Very nice. All right. So I think on the list here, we were going to talk about Superman 1, but something happened with Superman 1. What's the story behind Superman 1, and what are we going to substitute in its place?
I don't know, but you keep cutting out on me.
Could you hear the question? We are having some technical difficulties, people. Please bear with us as we try to resolve our issues.
Okay. Can you hear me?
I can hear you, yes.
Are you there?
I am here. Can you hear us?
Yeah.
Okay, so there's a couple of people here that are actually asking some questions around where the money comes from to buy the books. We actually dug into that, and I think a fair amount of detail, so you may have to rewind and watch this thing back on replay to get some of those answers, because we spent a fair amount of time on it, so I don't want to truncate it by giving you a short answer now. So if you get a chance, Danielle, you may need to bounce out and then come back in, and maybe that'll resolve the problem. Yeah, I think we have lost Danielle. So we'll give her a couple of minutes and hopefully she'll be able to bounce back in. I can tell you guys, I was watching Rachel Maddow yesterday, and she was doing a quick interview with, I think it was a senator. And just as the senator came on, they started to having some technical glitches. And Rachel was like, okay, we're just going to go ahead and go to commercial, and then we'll come back and I'll send some elves over to fix the problem. Right now, I really wish I had some elves. So I think Danielle may be back.
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you.
Okay, so I can hear you now. Okay,
excellent.
We're good.
And I can see you. Something happened. There is clarity. There is clarity now.
Okay, good.
So my question or my comment to you was that we were going to talk about Superman #1 and something happened. Can you talk about what happened and then also share with us what book replaces Superman 1?
Yes. So it's at CGC getting reholdered, and I didn't pick it up yet. So I have an appointment tomorrow. And in lieu of it, I brought Action 7, the second Superman cover, is a replacement, also super rare. This is one of Ben's favorite books.
Shout out Ben.
Still on.
Hold that one up just a little higher. That's cool. Ben, why is that one of your favorite covers? Why is that the favorite cover? So what's the significance of 7 besides the rarity of that book?
Well, it's the second Superman cover after Action 1.
Got it. So what happened between 2 and 6? Was he not on the cover, I'm guessing?
Yeah, he wasn't on the covers. He was just in the stories. But some of those covers are really cool and have great artwork.
Got it. So this Action 7, there are 45 of those on the CGC census, which is not a whole lot. 27 of those are universal, 17 of those are restore, and there is 1 qualified. So again, we are talking some ultra rare books, especially when you're talking about the age of these books. And this one was what? 38, 39?
Yeah, 38.
38. Got it. Very nice. And that book, I'm guessing was let me restate. Was that Action 7 that you just picked up one of the ones that was recently acquired from that collection of 1 through 400?
It's a 1.0, but that one is at CGC. This is my personal copy.
Got it.
It's only a 1.0 because you cannot find it in high grade, and when it comes up, it sells so crazy.
Got it. Got it. Okay. So I think the last book that we were going to look at on this is one that we saw last time, but it was so gorgeous that we wanted to look at it again. And this was Action Comics #1. I think this is the last book that was on my list.
It was.
That is nice.
Let's show it again.
That is nice. The closest I've come to that book is the Spider-Man book, the homage cover, where he actually does the same pose. It's like the same thing. It's virtually the same book.
Let's not get offensive here.
Sorry, I'm trying to make myself feel better. So that Action Comics #1 is from 1938. There are 69 of those on the CGC census. 28 of them are restored, and 1 is qualified. That was an impressive list of books that you just showed us. It really was. How long have you had those books? And I mean, I'm not asking about each one, but have you had most of them for a limited amount of time, or have you had them for a while?
Some I've had for a while, some like more than 4 years. Some of the ones that I didn't bring out, I've had for longer, like 7 or 8 years.
Yeah.
And then like as upgrades come in, undercopies sell, and kind of ask her. I don't know why Knights of Old keeps asking which dealer has better Golden Age books at the shows. I don't really know. I guess it depends on what you like.
And I'm guessing it depends on which show you go to, what you're interested in, and what your idea of good is, whether it's cheap or it's quality or rarity. I think that's one of those questions that's tough to answer.
Yeah.
Say it again.
Or a combination of all three. Like, I guess everyone brings different stuff to each show, right? Inventory is forever changing. And so I guess it depends on the show you're at, what dealers are at the show, what they have in stock at the moment. That's a tough question. Yeah. I'd like to say my booth.
Let's just say that because you're on camera and you're doing a really good job showing us some amazing books. So let's just go with that, right?
Right.
All right. So let me see what else I wanted to ask you on here, because we're getting a little bit close on our time, and I try to keep these things moving relatively quickly. So during the last live stream, you made a comment about that back wall back there, and I just wanted to revisit that for a second. Did I hear you correctly when you said that back wall was a run of Amazing Spider-Man? Is that what I heard?
It's 1 to 400.
1 to 400. Is that part of the personal collection, or are these just books you just keep around the house?
Well, It's not really part of the collection. It just hasn't made its way to be for sale yet.
What's the grade on the Amazing Spider-Man #1, if you recall back there?
I think it's a 1.5 or a 2.0, but it's the UK edition.
Okay. Yep. And is there only one back there?
One Spidey one.
One Spidey one.
Well, on that wall, yeah.
Okay. Okay. You were about to make a point before I cut you off. I apologize.
Oh, no, it's okay. It's a run I picked up from a guy like 3 years ago in a deal I did. And I've just kind of waited to bring it out.
Yeah. I was actually watching someone's, I think it was his Instagram feed several months ago. He actually went, I don't know, maybe it was Kentucky, and he actually picked up 1 through 801 from some guy. One guy had the entire run of Amazing Spider-Man. The guy went, got a U-Haul, basically picked up the guy's entire run. He took his cabinets. He took the guy's cabinets.
Really legit, the whole everything.
He legitimately took everything, strapped it into a U-Haul, and was like, I am driving this collection home. I can't even imagine what that's like. You know, that is just, I'm actually trying to build that here in this room because I love Amazing Spider-Man. So for me, it's kind of cool, you know, but this guy, I don't know how much he paid, but it was not cheap is my guess.
Well, maybe I can sell you a Spider-Man run instead of a
run. I need like random issues, right? Like I have some.
No, all right.
Yeah. I won't be coming to your house in the U-Haul. Let's put it that way to get that cabinet back there. I'd be like, hey, can you give me issue like 3, 4? I need 21. Like it's going to be super random, you know? All right. So it sounded like you picked that up from a single guy, single purchase, 1 through 400 a couple of years ago. At some point, those books, when the offer presents itself, will actually be sold. I think it's really cool that you had that. You mentioned it at the end of last live stream, and I was like, let me revisit that one real quick. So thank you for that.
All right. You're welcome.
All right. So with that, I want to go ahead and start wrapping this thing up. So you have shown what I think were some really amazing books. You showed us a lot of crazy books last time, but this one was really cool just with the diversity of what was shown. Like the last one was really all about Action Comics. This one was about rare and ultra rare books. Yeah. We talked a little bit about the fact that you do timely payments, but let's say that there's someone out there that is interested in picking up one of those books. How should they go about getting in touch with you to see what a deal might look like?
Message me on Instagram, Nerdy Girl Comics. Email me on nerdygirl1031@gmail. Or, well, if you message me on one of those, I can give my phone number. I don't want to share that.
Yeah. Do you want to give your eBay? Do you want to give your eBay?
Yeah, and then eBay is Filter81. Always feel free to shoot a message on there too.
Yep. My hope is that some people will reach out to you because I think you have some amazing books, right? And they're not books that I think you can find just about anywhere. I think it's one of those cool things, as I was making the point earlier, that people make a decision on who they sell their books to. I think people can also make a decision about who they choose to buy their books from. And so I personally like to have a connection with people if I can when I buy books, which is why I've been like doing trades and things like that via Instagram, because it's cool to get to know people, right? I've been buying some of my Amazing Spider-Man books locally because I go to a guy's shop, I hang out with him, he tells me some cool stories about Stan Lee, and I walk away with some books that I was going to buy anyway, but I get a little extra.
Yeah.
Right. I get a little extra something besides here's my money, eBay, right, and I get my whatever % back from eBay bucks, you know, there's a little bit more about it. So fingers crossed some people reach out to you, people that want to buy houses. I'm sure that there's many people out there that will do that.
Or if they want to buy collections with me, let's buy collections together.
Do you want to talk a little bit more about that one more time, just so that people fully appreciate that statement and what that actually means?
Yeah. If you find a collection and either you don't want to or you're unable to finance it, contact me. Let's split it and we'll split the profits. I'm always happy to do that. Yeah.
Very good. Danielle, I want to thank you for coming on the channel again. This was a lot of fun. I mean, it's cool to interact with you, but it's also cool to really see some awesome books that I otherwise wouldn't be able to see because I don't go to many cons to be able to see these things. So what'd you say?
You have to come to a show.
Yeah, maybe. I don't really do crowds, Danielle. I don't do crowds.
I understand that. It's okay. So come. We'll have like a private meetup somewhere with like a few Instagram guys, and we'll geek out that way.
That I can do. That I can do.
Let's
So what
make
was
that
crazy
happen.
is I did go to a con a few weeks ago, and there were like 10 people that recognized me, which was it was interesting. It was interesting being recognized out in public, and I'm used to that for like fitness stuff at a fitness event, but it was different to be at a comic book convention, and people would be like, "Hey, I know you," and I know you get that, right? Because you stand out in a crowd, as do I, which I think is it's really cool. It's really cool. I'm thinking about getting pink hair too. I'm thinking about getting pink hair.
You should. Then we can twin.
Danielle, it has been a pleasure. I hope that you guys enjoyed this live stream. I want to thank everyone who reached out to me suggesting that we get her back on the channel. Thanks to everyone who actually sent questions over to me to ask Danielle. I think she did a fantastic job of not only showing us some really cool books, but also giving us a little bit of insight into how she got started. Because I think there's a lot of people out there that want to live this dream of dealing in comics. And I think she gave us a lot of really valuable information that we could potentially leverage. So Danielle, thank you to you, everyone that attended the chat. Thank you to you guys. And if you guys haven't subscribed to the channel, I definitely want to encourage you to do so that you can stay abreast of all the content that we release on a weekly basis. Danielle, take care.
Bye.